Hey guys, we are currently sitting in Emmy's room. Isn't that exciting? So this is Emmy's new room. I can't wait to start decorating it and everything like that. The wall behind me is boring and I'm like on the floor pretty much. I'm sitting on an air mattress. So there's not a whole lot going on right now. Like, gee, the wall's blank. But it will get filled. The natural lighting in here is amazing. I have no camera light on right now and I don't have the ceiling light on. This is just natural light from the window. And Taylor's running around with a bone in her mouth. Anyway, totally off topic. But anyway, I am really excited because I had my home study agency consultation yesterday here in Alberta with doing international. It's different than domestic private adoption in Manitoba, where you just have your one agency and that's it. With doing international, you have your agency that is your home study, and then on top of that you have your agency that does your country specific stuff. So I already consulted with the coordinating agency via phone a few months ago, I don't know, sometime in June I think, I don't remember. I'll try to remember to post the link up there. But yeah, so I did an in-person consultation with my home study agency yesterday. There's a couple different agencies here in Alberta, but this is one I chose based off of what I was looking for and other people's recommendations. So I'm not going to talk about too much about the agency. I'm just going to talk about the process and what's going on. So most of the information she gave me was not new to me. I mean, I've been researching adoption for 4 years plus, and specifically with Alberta for over a year, or almost a year, I guess. But like, I pretty much know what's going on. All the information is on websites, either the agency specific websites or the Alberta Canada websites, the adoption section for that. So not a lot of this was new for me, but I did have some questions that I wanted to ask them. So right now, what's going to happen with the agency, they have given me paperwork to start. They spread out their fees pretty well. And she also said that if there's fees like my home study that I don't think I can pay up front, I can spread it out. Doing stuff like that doesn't technically help me when it comes to the fact that, like, once my home study is approved, the coordinating agency fees like pile up really quickly, but it does help me get stuff started a bit sooner. So, so right now I have some paperwork to fill out. So I have to fill out the application for Alberta. That's step number 1. That's free to do, but I have to start my home study within a year of doing that. Also, because I just moved to Alberta, I have no Alberta identification or anything like that. So, kind of need to wait till I at least do my driver's license and stuff before I start submitting stuff like that. What else? So then I fill out their paperwork form. So they have a registration fee form, they have a medical form they need filled out, and then a child desired form, and then a financial form. In terms of what I've seen from other people, some of this, such as the medical form, is better to wait until you have registered with your coordinating agency and started your dossier, because you are paying to get forms done with your doctor. You're paying your own time to take out to go to your doctor, which I obviously don't have a doctor yet, so working on that too. I have to wait 90 days to get my provincial health card, so because right now I'm still technically Ontario resident. So that will be, so August, September, end of October, I'll be able to get my provincial health card. So November would be the earliest I could see a doctor here. But like I said, it's better to wait to do my medical form with my doctor until I have registered with the coordinating agency to start the dossier paperwork too, because there's no point on doing the home study medical and then Taylor's walking around with a bone in her mouth and she looks ridiculous. It doesn't make sense to do the home study medical form and then like 3 weeks later go back to do the dossier medical form. So, yeah, so I need to register with the home study agency and the coordinating agency in order to get like some of the documents that are duplicated to not be so much work, if that makes sense. They need a copy of my passport, which she said that doesn't have to be notarized or anything like that, just literally a photocopy of it. In terms of the dossier submission though, everything's going to have to be notarized. I do not have a checklist from the coordinating agency yet. I'll get that at registration. So that's kind of a priority for me to get that underway too. And then my T4 for my most recent year, which for this year I'll actually be using, because I won't be starting my home study until 2017 or 2018 at the earliest. So it'll be for the 2017 year. So that will be a little chaotic. Oh, it actually shouldn't be that bad. It's 2017. I just worked in Northern Ontario, and then I'll have from this school. So I only have 2. And then I need a criminal record check from the RCMP. And then I need an intervention check, which is like a child abuse registry check. I need that from Manitoba, Ontario, and Alberta. Yeah. So that's a little chaotic because that's quite a bit of stuff. I'm actually going to email her and find out. I'm going to email her and my coordinating agency to find out when things expire, because stuff like the provincial application expires in a year, and you have to do your home study within that year. The immigration part 1 expires in 2 years, I believe, and I think you have to have part 2 going or your child home or something. So like some of the stuff I don't want to do too far ahead of time, because if I do that, then I'm SOL with things expiring. The other stuff I need is the medical, and there's like a, whatever you call it, like a contract thing I have to sign. But beyond that, also in my application is my references and all that fun stuff, which I have a lot of information with some of this stuff from my previous home study when I did private adoption, which if you guys want me to do like actual breakdown of my forms, let me know in the comments below. When I did private adoption before, I did videos on my home study forms that I actually filled out, and I read them, I read my answers and all that fun stuff. So if you want me to do that, let me know, because I'm more than happy to do that as well. In terms of my home study itself, so that's kind of just the checklist they gave me. In terms of my home study itself, I live by Medicine Hat, and the worker lives in Lethbridge. So Calgary is where my agency is, and that's where I went. I was dropping my brother off at the airport, so it was kind of like kill 2 birds with 1 stone kind of thing. But the worker is going to have to travel to my place. She said that because I am single, they often do 2 longer interviews instead of 4 short interviews, especially because I'm not local. And that's similar to what happened in Manitoba. Manitoba, because I lived in a remote flying community, a community that's only accessible by plane, I flew out for 1 meeting in the city. The social worker flew to my place for a longer 2-part interview, and then we did the 3rd one via phone and email, or 4th technical one. So she said with this one, my actual home study meetings could be due probably back to back. So one weekend she comes to do part 1 and 2, and then second weekend she comes for 2 and 3. So my home study itself could be really fast, especially because a lot of the paperwork that I'm submitting goes into my home study stuff that she's going to just kind of be reviewing with me and asking certain questions. So my number 1 priority right now is to get my government stuff in order, get my health card and my license switched over to Manitoba. Nope. Ontario. Nope. Alberta. Oh, I lived in too many provinces. So I need to switch all that over first, and then I can submit the government application, and that will only take about 2 weeks to get approval. After that, it's basically just trying to get enough money to register for the agencies, both the home study agency as well as the coordinating agency, because like I said, there's a lot of duplicates in terms of paperwork, so there's no point on me starting paperwork with the home study agency before registering with my coordinating agency, because if I can do one piece of paperwork for both things, or if I'm going somewhere to get something done, if I can get duplicates done or whatever, that makes more sense. In terms of the actual home study itself, so I do all this chunk of paperwork, which I'm going to be working on now. And then that gets submitted to them. And then we do our 2 visits, our 2 longer visits. I have notes, that's why I'm looking down. I'm guessing you guys assume that. So I also have my adoption training to do, which will be done after I start submitting some of this stuff. After my home study visits are done, it'll be about 2 to 3 weeks for them to write the home study up, and a couple more weeks to like get everything edited and whatnot. So about 2 months pretty much to get them to get everything done on their end, and then they submit it to the Alberta government, and it'll take about 2 months for the Alberta government to approve it. So in terms of my home study, I knew my home study would take about 4 to 6 months to do, but 4 months of that is just waiting for things to get approved. It'll only take about a month to actually do the home study, and the rest is just waiting, lots of waiting. So the sooner I can do that, the better. Financially right now, so in the adoption fund, I have enough to cover my classes, my application for the local agency, and the immigration document that gets started at the same time as my home study. So immigration part 1, I start at the same time as my home study, which is basically just proving I'm a Canadian citizen. Not that hard. But it takes like 5-6 months to get that done. So what I'm seeing in the adoption community right now is there's a lot of people that haven't had it done, and they're at a point where their adoption process has halted because it's taking so long. So I was advised to start that as soon as I start my home study, because like I said, my home study is probably going to take about 5 or 6 months to actually do everything. So hopefully by the time my home study is done, I already have immigration part 1 done. So then that's one less step, and that lasts 2 years. And then you can do 3-month extensions after that, I believe. So yeah, so right now, like I said, I don't want to register for my home study agency until I can also register for my coordinating agency, just because I don't want to do double the paperwork for some things that it's easier just to do once, or like 1 visit to the doctor's office to get 2 forms done, stuff like that. So that's $1,500 plus tax to register for my coordinating agency. So I have that, my home study, and travel for my home study that I got to come up with. My agency did say that my home study itself, I can break into 2 chunks or whatever works for me. I have to pay half to start, and then the rest I can spread out. It just all has to be paid before they submit it to the government. So about 3 months I'll have to come up with the rest. So right now it's mostly just that big $1,500 chunk to get the coordinating agency done, and then half the home study and the travel. The travel will cost about $1,000. Yeah, because it's per kilometer plus per hour. Like it's insane. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. I'm really excited to have paperwork now to start working on forms. Emmy's room is a bit of a disaster right now, so I can start sorting stuff through her. Her stuff. I also am starting work soon. I'm a teacher and should be getting access to my classroom probably next week. I don't officially start until like 3 weeks from now, but till the end of August, but whatever, if I can get access, I can get stuff done. But I like having a checklist of stuff that I can start working on, because at least I can fill out forms. That was the thing with private adoption that I loved, was being able to just start filling out forms. Because some stuff, obviously my name, address, stuff like that's not going to change. Some of the questions I'll probably hold off, because you never know what life's going to throw you. But beyond that, pretty much can start stuff. What else am I going to say? So right now it basically is just waiting to get money. If you watched my previous vlog on the finances of what's happening right now, which I will post up there, basically I'm just waiting to see how much money I have to borrow from my brother still. Moving was not cheap. It was not really fun either. Kind of fun, kind of a little bit of adventure, but glad it's over, and I'm glad I'm somewhere permanent now. So once I know what I have to borrow from him, I'll know how fast I can pay him back, and then I'll also know how fast I can get the funds saved up for my next steps. Right now, I'm currently hoping to have my home study started by May at the latest, absolute latest. If possible, I would like to have it started maybe March, February, but that might be wishful thinking. But yeah, May at the absolute latest is kind of my plan right now, because then, so if it's finished in May, June, July, August, September, October, I'll get approval. And then hopefully have a match before the end of this year, and then pick her up probably early of 2019 is kind of my goal right now. So yeah, so if you have any suggestions for fundraising, please let me know. I will post the current fundraisers down below. We have a puzzle fundraiser, Tag the Bag fundraiser, which are all through my GoFundMe. There is a, what's the other one? Coffee fundraiser through Just Love Coffee. And I have t-shirt sales, which are adoption and infertility and Down syndrome related. So go check those out. And yeah, if you have any other fundraiser ideas, please let me know. I'm really excited to be on this journey with you guys, and I'm always excited when you guys are excited about being excited. You guys are just awesome, and I'm so glad to have you on this journey, because it's not the most fun at times, but having you guys there make it even better. And we are crossing the finish line soon. Like this is the last like year and a half that we are rolling now. If you've stuck it out since my journal began like 4 years ago, we are crossing the finish line in the next year and a half. 2 years absolute max, depending on how the government of India, how slow they are. But yeah, we are really like wrapping things up now. And she will be home hopefully not too many years from now. Like I said, hopefully by early 2019 at the absolute latest. I mean, if I win the lottery and can do my home study right now, I would. So anyway, that's it for today, guys. Questions, comments, go down below. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you guys next time. Bye, guys.